Hello, it's back to AAA Wargaming with a game with Art of War Game 4. Apologies for the break. For the moment, it's been quite hectic here, but we're back into it and hopefully getting to the next two ones out shortly. So, uh, this is the first game on Sunday, and what happened on the back of on the Saturday was I'd beaten Asuryan Ancient Martin Brolly quite convincingly, 14-6. I then lost quite very convincingly to Hugh Scarlin to Hugh Scarlin's Scouting Demon Legion list with the Scourge and the Courtesan that's been rocked by the Scottish Knight at the UK Masters who won it. That was 20-0. So I then went down and I played Robert Cousins with his Orcs and Goblins, awesome army, and managed to win that 18-2 because I got very lucky in my sort of turn 5 dice rolls and the Tree Fathers went mental, couldn't be wounded by anything, and managed to take out pretty much his Lord Apocalypse, a big green idol, and a unit of uh, Black Orcs as well. So overall, a good start there. But hov on to Sunday. So it was Sunday night or Saturday night. We went out for a curry, and my mate looked across the me and went, "Guess who you've got?" And when the list came out, I was like, "Who?" And he went, "Craig Johnson." I think I swore. He then also said, "Look at the list. You might have a chance of doing something." So this is Game of War. It was Frontline Clash, so nice, easy setup on the Sunday morning, and King of the Hill. So two bits of uh, two pennies. I think it was two pennies. I might be wrong with their King of the Hill. I think it was two pennies. So it's the one that's 24 inches apart. And yeah, got to go and take him at the end of the game. But Craig Johnson was running Saurian Ancients, so he was having a look at it. Uh, and in my list, we'll go over his list first. I probably should move this around actually. So first off is the Quattle with Alchemy. Now overall, actually, I'm not too bothered about that, um, apart from my Tree Fathers, and as they're pretty integral to my list, that's not great. It was also when he takes the Hereditary, that's really bad for me because my Blade Dancers can take quite a bit of hits on that just because of the high strength, and I don't really have any armor to it. So it's a good. It was a worrying matchup, so I was wondering how I was going to have to keep the Quattle Lord back and just keep them away from my units. And I thought maybe I've got to sort of combine them in the center between the Tree Fathers and the Blade Dancers just to give that big threat range and just in case he could go through. Otherwise, he's got two Cowboys, one on foot, one on a what's it called, on a Raptor. I hate them. They're really good. They're cheap and they're just not very easy to take down. On the plus side though, I've got two Tree Fathers. I think with a crush attack, gets in the right place, I can go through them. Yes. So looking at it, I mean, he's really got a one up, so nothing there that says. Um, but I think the Raptor Spirit with the Fortitude, I think that does. I think that's a 4+ Fortitude, or is it? Yeah, I think it might be a 5+ Aegis and a +1 HP. But other than that, I was pretty happy on them. So it wasn't anything like Tommy Tucker's one-up rerollables or that. They're just a nightmare. It then got a unit of Saurian Warriors, Crocodile Standard, so +1 musician, sorry, +1 armor in combat. Um, I wasn't, or +1 armor. I wasn't worried about the Flaming Standard because they're strength 4 anyway, and I couldn't see anything up there that would really worry about that. So I wasn't concerned. That would annoy me if I got some of my smaller ones in. Looking at my looking so I was pretty happy. Apart from maybe Healing Waters, that might be not that great for this one, especially as he can put flaming on everything. We then got 3 units of Skink Braves. So I wasn't too worried about them. I know how dangerous they can be against my monsters, especially Blade Dancers, but they're short range, and I get into them and they're just there for scoring. So I was looking at his 4 scoring units. With 2 coins, he can split them quite a lot, but I do have a lot of shooting, so maybe I can start causing some panic tests if they're away from the Quattle BSB general. So I wasn't too concerned about that. I think he was going to have to keep them quite central, so they were going to have to go after one objective. And then he's got 2 units of 3 Rampant Riders. I forgot how dangerous these were. I completely forgot about the scent and where he would put that. And the obvious answer has been my Forest Rangers and probably one of my Tree Fathers, which he does. But yeah, they're very dangerous. I know for 230 points, it's a bargain between the three of them. They absolutely can pump out a lot of attacks. And then three Pterodon sentries, which was quite annoying. I should have, in my head, I was going to concentrate fire on these between my Heath Hunters, and that was my plan going into it. And then four monsters, classic Craig Johnson, lots of moving single models. I think my biggest annoyance was the Stygiosaurus, just with both their breath weapons. But other than that, with the Taurosaurs and Great Bows, I wasn't worried about that with my Tree Father. Uh, um, I just knew that it was going to be a bit of a standoff for them. Yes, they're Swiss Stride, but they haven't got a long charge range, so I think it was going to be a bit of a just Tree Fathers and them just looking at each other across the way, and maybe using the Blade Dancers to keep them back. So I thought them and going after his wizard and the monsters would be dangerous if I let them charge, and that I just had to and his cowboys. I didn't take as much account for his Ramparton Riders because they're Vanguard and everything else. So I think they should have been probably my priority target number one because of the rest of his army is so slow and I can go after them. So when you look at my army, I've got standard you can see in the other list, but the key ones here are going to be my Blade Dancers in the middle. I think they can go after one of the objectives and just hold it with the Dryad Ancient behind in general, just to make sure they're there. But I'm going to have to keep some at least one Tree Father in range to go after some of his monsters. I wasn't really sure what to do with the Forest Rangers. I think what my plan was to go after one of the objectives, and when you see yeah, that was my original plan thinking the night before, and then I forgot it when deployment. I'll go through that in a second. And then the Sentinels are just going to try and keep alive as long as possible and try and plink wounds off his monsters. So I think they were supposed to be quite central. Now, when you go on to Magic, I did take Healing Waters in the end, even though there is he can make stuff flammable and stuff like that. But there's only one Flaming Banner, so I was pretty happy with it, and it just means I can stop a certain type of spell. But otherwise, I went for Summer Growth because I thought with Trinity Magic I was going to need some stuff back. Forest Embrace and Hand of Heaven standard, and then went for Scrying and Know Thine Enemy just because of the way how effective they were in the first Saurian Ancient game. But in hindsight, maybe I should have taken another damage spell just to have a go after his um, flyers, his monsters, anything like that. I think that should have been doing. Otherwise, I think he took a very standard one, lots of shooting, um, and lots of damage spells. I think that worked quite well because I have to choose which ones to stop, and I just couldn't do it. So that was it. My most worries I was worried about was probably Quicksilver Lash and Spark of Creation. Uh, so there he is. There's the double master, and this was the map. So just to go through it, so we had a ruins and a forest over here, and that's where I put my penny. What's the thing? We have an impassable here. That's the forest I dropped with a wall, another forest, and a hill. So I think uh, we rolled off for sides, and he selected, and he went for this top one. I'm guessing because of the hill, and he didn't want the impassable terrain in his side. And the ruins are quite good cover from any of my shooting, so it gave him quite a good balance. Um, and it meant, but that was it. I then decided to drop first. So he first put his counter somewhere here. I think that was his one, but it was somewhere around here was the first coin, and then mine I put over here because I thought, okay, we'll split them and we'll just keep them in the forest. And then I plan to put my forest as close as possible to his counter to then move it on and causing problems with the blade dancers. I then had a plan. So what I thought he was going to use the hill with his monsters just to get that swift stride and come down here. So what I thought about was then using my sentinels over here and just keep them central so they can react. But I thought this side was going to be quite key. Um, and then I put my forest rangers there just so I could move up and threaten his monsters if they came up, along with a tree father either side just in case they came there. And I wanted to keep my army to the left due to it's impassable. Apart from that, I kept my Heath Hunters here so I could look like I was going here, but actually what I always planned to do was go around this side, which probably he saw, and use my Heath Hunters as cover so they could stop any skinks or anything coming through this gap. And I just moved my Heath Riders, my scoring cavalry unit, onto the objective and straight one. And if necessary they needed support, the Tree Father was going to go around this way. So he could threaten the centre and go that way. And I was just kind of hoping to classically force them back into the corner. Here, after his turn, so I've got a bit of my turn here. So you can see he's put all his flyers on this side. His target is my forest rangers. I think this is really clever because he's put, you can see he has put the scented prey on this and this tree father here. So he's really trying to look to turn my left flank and then secure this objective. He's kept his, so he's got his quattl with skinks in here so he can bounce around a bit. He's got a Uniosaurus so he can push them forward and just cause me a bit of pain. And then he's got one Taurosaur and two Taurosaurs and one of the Stygiosaurs. He's got the skinks up back here, and you can see that they can either come forward or go to my right and start marching towards this objective. And then he's just put one of the Stygiosaurs, because of the breath weapon, sitting over here. It can terror bomb, and it can just keep my Heath Hunters out of the way and mitigate that. So it was a good tactic. What I was happy about was he is still on the left, so I've still got this space here. So that is why I moved up quite aggressively on the right, moving the blade down. So I wanted to start dominating his centre and pushing him back into that corner there. So at least, at the very least, I can get this objective. So I can at least draw the objective. My tree father now has pretty. I can just keep moving sideways um, and just keep going that way and start to threaten a Stygiosaur with these. Well, these two can just shoot off or destroy any skinks coming forward. And I was pretty confident with the objective on this side at this point. In terms of this side, I really was thrown by vanguarding Rampardoms up here. I didn't really know I could see. I then, so I had the Sentinels there and the Forest Rangers there. I moved the Forest Rangers back for a bit, but what I should have done is actually just created an angle where I could charge them. So maybe I should have pivoted them so the Forest Rangers could charge here and move the Sentinels right back here out of the way just to give them some arc. But all I've done there is block them off. And yeah, not very cleverly done actually, if I'm honest. So all I've done is given him an arc here to move into, or anywhere here, because my Sentinels can't charge him, and he just does that. My Tree Father's not really supporting this area, so yes, I could have. Yeah, it wasn't a very good move in this side. So I was happy on the right, not very happy on the left, and I could see at this point that I was wondering what to do with my Forest Rangers. So I knew next turn I was going to want a big magic phase to try and protect them. In terms of magic, I think I got scrying up just to give them -1 to hit, just to protect from the bow. Other than that, I got Forest Embrace off on the Sentinels just in case he started shooting bows in, but otherwise fairly little. But otherwise, I think he can't push forward as much, so I think he's got around this side. But this is where his Cowboys come into play here. So I think one's in the Saurians, and the Cowboy on the Raptor is in this unit, the front unit of Skinks there. I think that's him on the end. So he's going to have to use him to threaten forward. And that's what happens. So you can see on the left, you can see his riders have come up, and that's quite annoying. I can't do anything about that. And I think at this point I was looking at it going, how bad is Center Prey? And I was thinking about the rules and doing the maths and thinking that's not great. I don't think I can stop anything there. He's got his Cowboy here, so he's far enough away because of only 2d6 charge with the Tree Father, so he's not really threatened by my character, but he's happy to push up slowly because there's no requirement to go and get the objective yet, but you can already start to see them forming a wall there, looking down the center and keeping me honest in the center here, whilst his skinks start moving slowly across. His Stygiosaur on the right has stayed in the ruins because it's good cover. I don't think I put a single wound on him last turn, so he doesn't have to worry about that at all. And then, yeah, that was it. So otherwise, I think he's outmaneuvered me on the left. He's kept me honest on the right. And then in the center, we've just got a bit of a standoff match. But I think if he can take my flank and start moving down here, getting into my general and other units, he can spend the 5-6 turns waiting. So I needed to change. I knew I was under pressure already. I didn't really know how to push forward because he'd not left me range in the center. I was a bit stuck, but I was still happy on the right. So I was like, I think I can still draw the objective, but I need to know how to. I didn't really have a plan of how to rescue the left at this point. So what happened? So on the right, I started moving the Tree Father across. So I didn't make any charges first of all. So I knew what I. bit of a spoiler. So I knew what I wanted to do with the Tree Father, and that was to keep them bottled up here. So that's what I started doing, moving across, forcing him into this area. Because if he starts moving across this way, then I can start shooting him a bit more on this side, start plinking away. My Tree Father can dance around. I'm pretty happy. I don't want to come in within 21 inches or breath weapon there because I was worried about panic check. They're only leadership 8 on the flank. Ironically, it was Craig Johnson who asked me straight away, why not put banner of discipline on them? And I was like, that's an excellent point. I will be doing that next time. So both Heath Hunters are going to have banner of disciplines on them. So yeah, I was pretty with that, but I wanted to be in range so I could at least shoot at one of the two of them. So I can start hopefully plinking off some wounds here. In this sense, I took a risk in the center and I took these away from shooting at these in order to take some wounds off these guys, just so I could minimize the amount of raptors coming in. And then I lined up my Dryads on this side, so I wouldn't, if he overran, I wouldn't have an overrun in the flank. I'd at least be able to take him in the front. I kept my Tree Father on this side because I think what I wanted to do is get the Sentinels there. And then, so he would charge the Sentinels, and then he would come into me, and I would have a magic phase to at least buff my Forest Rangers. What I should have done was I should have moved the Sentinels back to block them, and kept or should have moved the Tree Father in the way or something so we could countercharge. But I was more concerned about I wanted to keep these two honest here. What I didn't want to do, because I actually yeah, that's why I couldn't have done it. If because I've moved this Tree Father over here, I've created this gap here that you could sort of pressure with the Saurians and NQ. So if I move this guy around to look towards this area, these two cowboys here can just punch up into here, threaten my Blade Dancers. He can just sacrifice one of his monsters or the Saurian warriors, and then I'm really there. So I can't, I'm fixed in the center. I've just got to try and buy some time on the left. And so I just shoved magic on them, but like 4+ fortitude on the Sentinels and stuff like that. I thought they were going to come in first because the idea is I thought I'd at least made them charge the Sentinels first. Otherwise, I think I did a couple of wounds to them, but nothing really much. I'd left too big a gap. Yeah, it wasn't great. So what happened was we did one of his Rampadon units got fully into my Forest Rangers, so that's 3 Rampadons pretty much on full going in there against them. I've then got another unit into the Sentinels themselves. In fact, no, they didn't go into the Sentinels. The other ones lined up, and the Pterodons dropped rocks. So that's the 4 you're seeing dying there. So I've lost most of my bank rank of those Sentinels there. I don't think I've got great pictures on this. No, I do. Sorry, here's a good one. So what you can see happened is he's starting. So he's going. I thought he was going to wipe out this unit, and I did the mass. I think he was going to take out this unit. So he's taken my left flank. You can see he's pushed his cowboy up to there. It is in arc of my Tree Father we checked, but I think he wanted me to come out that way because in the center he's got far more ability to come and rush me. So he's very much in control on this side, and you can see he's quite comfortable to sit there and wait, just keep plinking me off with magic and a bit of shooting, and move his monsters across to my right, his left, to cover the skinks a bit. What he doesn't want to do there, which I was kind of hoping he'd concentrate in the center and just let my Tree Father run down there to turn the skinks, but obviously that's why he's the master. Otherwise, he still hasn't moved the Stegosaur out, so I'm now a bit worried that I'm going to lose it on the left. I'm going to get stuck in the center, and I'm not going to be able to do anything with the. And I'm not going to be able to do anything on the right because I don't think my Heath Hunters, my unit Heath Rider and a Tree Father can take on a Taurosaur, 2 Stegosaurs, and some Skinks. I think with the number of terror checks and stuff like that, I think he wins that fight. So I've got to somehow even the odds and do something a bit different. That's Sylvanel's turn 3. So what happens here? Okay, so Saurian turn 2. So what happens is he wipes that. So I kill up pretty much most of the Rampadons here, but he wipes this unit out, and they run and they get chased down here. So that's my Forest Rangers gone. One of the reasons I quite like the Forest Rangers in a small unit of like 24 and below without Vanguard is they are under 500 points. So I haven't lost. I've lost less than a ninth of my army in points there. So as annoying and bad as it is, it seems in this picture because it looks like my left flank has collapsed, and it has to a point. It's only five. It's only a ninth of my cost. That's not that bad. That's one monster plus a chaff or two bits of chaff unit. So I quite like that unit for that reason. So what I'm thinking, one, I've got to deal with these Rampedons. So what I start doing is I move the Sentinels over to there with the intent of raising them and start shooting this unit of Pterodons. I've killed one unit of Rampedons, but I've got this unit here, so I'm thinking get in there with the Dryads and kill him off. And then moving the Sentinels, keeping them out on this side to try and shoot them with ball. Whilst there's a bit of stalemate on the right, I can quickly move. That's why I love these units. 10 Heath Hunters with bows. They're really, really mobile. I've moved one round to the back here just so I can start plinking a few wounds off this, see if I can get a few more out and get it out. The charge, though, the Tree Father here, sorry, the Tree Father has got into his Cowboy. This is the one where if I can hit with a crush attack and go through it, I may be able to kill him off in a couple of turns, and that could really change the dynamic on the left here. Because actually, if I can survive that, his other cowboy I think had moved across to this point. He's going to come in here, but it just means he's dragged his Quattle and all this unit away from the center, away from the objective, and it just gives me a bit more balance. And it means his right is a bit more open to shenanigans and stuff, and I can start causing some checks. Uh, what I have done though, as you can see, is I've moved this Tree Father over to this side a bit more. One, he's not in range of being charged from either of them, but I just want to block them off from coming this way, and it just forces them to have a bit of a choice. But otherwise, I've got a bit of time to play with that objective. I've still not let him come onto this objective here, so it's not the end of the world yet. I've still got the Dryads near, and I can still do it with the Blade Dancers, and my Tree Father is still there on the left. Otherwise, what I do is I try and buff the Tree Father, and I think I get Scrying up or something like that, but that was it. What I don't do is he was waiting for it. I don't get Forest Embrace, Summer's Growth off on the Sentinels at the bottom, so they do not in. His turn 4. What I hadn't done here was I hadn't covered my gaps properly. Oh yeah, in combat. My Dryads fail to kill the Rampedon, but he does nothing to me, so we stick. So nothing there. What he does here is he moves the Pterodons up here to try and poison off the last Sentinel, and he charges his unit with this guy. With his other Saurian. So he's got two Saurians in contact. So a Saurian warlord or captain in with me now. So two cowboys. I'm like, okay, that's a bit bad. And last combat, I fluff, do nothing to that raptor, but I get take 2 wounds in return. So I'm getting a little concerned now because with 2 of them in there, I think that fight changes. And by turn 4, at the very least, he's going to have lots of scoring units around this central objective that I can't do anything about. And I still haven't dealt with the Rampedon, which I wanted to, and I still haven't dealt with the Pterodons. I only killed one off out of all that shooting. So I think the other bit I was a bit annoyed about is I've left this gap here, which I didn't need to with the Tree Father. I could have forced him back, and he's just put a Stygiosaur here. So he can't use a breath weapon at the moment, but it's in my way now. He's got all these 3 monsters, so I can't. If I charge in a round of that, the one thing he has done is he's left the Saurians there, and I think at this point he'd forgotten about the drums of Cameron. We talked about it, but this is the magic item that keeps tricking people out because I think I've got an overrun into his Taurosaur. I was looking at it and I was thinking, I think there was a gap there, and it's not that far from there to there in Swift Stride. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to sacrifice the central objective because I can't keep blocking it off, but I get forced back. But I'm going to go for it. I knew I was going to go for that charge next turn. In terms of magic, not much, but in combat, which is really good. So he kills my Tree Father, but I kill his Raptor guy with a crush attack. Brilliant. I'm happy with that because he was a great weapon or something. Or I went for other attack. I killed his Raptor Rider, which is awesome. On the right, I do nothing to his Rampedons, but I managed to, and he kills one of them. But I've got a rank, so it's just a push on that side. Or yes, it's just a push. So equal, which is really quite annoying. So this Rampedon Rider just is the luckiest person ever. Just die. Just go away, please. But other than that, the Tree Father's done well. Getting rid of the fast cowboy has probably saved this side, because that would have been really quite concerning. That thing would have chased down my Dryad Ancient, my Dryads, and I just wouldn't have had it be in a good spot. And it could have threatened my Blade Dancers in the centre. In terms of, is this turn 4? No, this is Soaring Ancient's turn 4. So this is Soaring Ancient's turn 4. You suddenly see that's Soaring Ancient's turn 4. Okay, so that's the start of it. That should be Soaring Ancient's turn 4, sorry. Silvernail's turn 4. You look where the Blade Dancers aren't, because they have charged. This is the end. So, one, I think I've finally killed this off, which is good, because there's a Warlord on foot coming down here with a Blazing Dawn spear and stuff. I've moved the Centaurs up here to shoot at the Taurosaur, and I did quite a lot of wounds with them between them and the Heath Hunter, so that was good. I think I put them down to 1 wound or something. But these guys got in, so they charged into the Saurians. They went through them like a hot knife through butter. I chose +1. Did I choose +1 AP? I think I chose +1 attack, even though that means he's still got a 5+ save because I'm only AP2 at that point. I thought the +1 attack was more beneficial. So I went through the unit. They ran off. I chased them down, and I went straight into the Taurosaur again. So that's another one. So that is out of arc of all the other charges. I can choose the 3+ ages. I've got enough things, so I can absolutely take them through. I did feel like I missed a Potion of Strength, which I know you can get in the build between Hero's Heart, Drums of Kemerin, 2 Aether Icons, and a Potion of Strength. You can get in there onto one character. He's about 350 points, but a Potion of Strength would really benefit in certain times, and I think this is one of them. Yeah, and that's a bit of photo of what the end of that. So it just means, and you can see my Tree Father has moved up on. Sorry for the grainy photo. You can see my Tree Father is out of arc and moving up to threaten these skinks. I was happy to risk him with the Stegosaur there on the right in the ruins because it draws him out, and it just means these could get terror bombed off next turn. It at least stops him from getting both objectives. And as you see here, I've got 4 wounds off this Stegosaur on this side, so he's on 1 wound left, which is really, really good. And what you can't see is I've started pushing up my Heath Riders on the right. So what does he do? So there are no charges, but what he has done is he has moved his Saurian Warlord up as far as possible, and he's going into the Dryades next turn, so I'm not going to charge him. He's going to have to, because I'm going to let him charge me because I'll have a rank. So I'll be steadfast for a bit and I'll feed him the champion and whatever else. But I'm just going to keep me back. He then kept the skinks back here because they've got plenty of time to get onto the objective, and he just doesn't want any shock horrors in case his Warlord dies here, or if my Blade Dancers go straight to his Taurosaur here. And then, so I think that's, that's absolutely fine. He's then threatened his Taurosaur here. He's made an assumption that I'm not going to go through his Taurosaur or not going to make him break in this. But I think, yes, he's cold-blooded, but he's definitely not in range of the BSB at the moment because the Quattle is over here somewhere. What that means for me is I've got a bit of a gap here, so I can go after his things, and I don't have to get worried about double teaming by then, because that on a Swift Stride is not a long charge, and I think I win that combat. So my plan, if I can break him and run off that way, I hold, because I'm going. I could go that way, or I could go that way. Oh, I haven't seen that. That would have been a mistake, actually. Should I have come back this way and threatened this area and stopped him winning this objective? I also could have threatened the Quattle. Yeah, I think I made a mistake there. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, he's also moved his Stegosaur here because he's planning to breath my last thing, my scoring unit on this side and cause a panic check, which is my only thing. I think I got so focused on this side and getting that objective there that I didn't think about this. Oh, that would have been interesting because that is a lot of points in there from the Coatl BSB general. Okay, that is interesting. Sorry, a few spoilers there on his turn. Otherwise, that charges. No, that doesn't charge that. So Soaring Ancient's turn 4. He's just killed a few Centaurs off in the centre there, but otherwise nothing much. And he only manages to kill 1 Heath Rider on that unit, giving me a flank. And this is where I got greedy. So he's popped his breath weapon. I'm quite maneuverable. I didn't need to do anything. What do? I charge in. So this is end of my turn 5. So what happened on his turn? Sorry, I should say this. So on his turn, these guys break this torso. Of course, like 3 wounds. He goes, I've got BSB, banner, I charged. Yes, he's steadfast, but it's steadfast 6. He's out BSB range. He runs. I declared a hold because I'm thinking this. I want to go for this. I'm already thinking, oh, I can charge 4 of them into there, and that was a bad mistake because yes, he's only got 1 wound, but you're hitting on 3s and then you're winning on 4s. That's really not hard to fluff. So I shouldn't have done that. And with 1 wound left, I should have just turned around the Heath Hunters and shot him. And then these could have moved here. I'm still within range of that. They're charging there. They could go for that. I can come for that later. It really doesn't matter. Yeah, this was my mistake. So this is probably the biggest mistake of the game, minus having the forest rangers on the left. This was my mistake because I could have stopped that objective. I think. Why didn't I do this? Did I think his magic was bad? No, I think blade dancers with a druid as a mage there and some sentinels, because that's not breaking. That's going to hold up for a bit. They shoot them. I can bring Heath Hunters around. Yeah. What am I doing? Okay, I don't understand that. I got so fixated on this objective that I thought I'd lost this, when actually my blade dancers could have gone for that and forced him off. There are only 2 units of skinks with a quattle, and I think that's a good thing. Even if I don't get the objective on the right, I don't think he gets it because the skinks are dead now. They're going to get charged by everything, so that stops that. And I could have killed his quattle. Okay, so live and learn. So what I did was I charged the rear of the Taurosaur in the center here, and I charged here on the flank. And you can see I didn't manage to kill it, but overall. And then what I did was, so when I charged them with the Tree Father, he fled. And I think from the way this is round, I must have caught him, killed him, and been able to turn around and pivot. But I wondered why I pivoted. Oh, I pivoted that way because I didn't think I'd kill the Taurosaur and I wanted to release my blade dancers quickly. As it happens, didn't matter. And then other than that, they're locked in combat still on my turn 5. And I've turned these around and managed to kill off the pterodons. Woo! Yay! No more pterodons. Finally got rid of them. Took enough turn, but yeah, no, happy with that. Okay, so and then I just lined everything up to shoot at the Stygiosaur. So okay, so what happened was I didn't do any wounds. He killed 2 of me, so that was a push with the flank. But now he's facing me, and I've messed up my chances of winning the objective on this side because his turn next, he probably kills them. And yeah, that was a bad move. So what I should have done was just shot the Stygiosaur there and then beaten to death the other Stygiosaur and at least drawn the objective on that side. Okay, that was, yeah. It's interesting doing these battle reports. You only realise what you majorly did wrong afterwards. So, but the blade dancers was a big one because I think I could have done that. He rallies his Taurosaur on the right here, so that thing I haven't killed, and he's there. But have I missed it? Okay, yeah, sorry. So he rallies his Taurosaur on this side, and he moves up the skinks, and now they're on the objective, and their unit have held with the Warlord. We're just going to beat each other to death till the end, and it will be, if I fail a panic check and run, then he'll kill me. If not, he'll just keep killing Dryads. Otherwise, he's got them there, so I don't want them to get killed off completely. And I can't win the objective now. I haven't got enough time, so that was a mistake with the blade dancers. Otherwise, I think he'd have had to sacrifice a unit of skinks and another skinks just to run the quattle away. Because I think I could have won that otherwise. On this side, he eats my Heath Riders, so that's really good. And he flames. I think he uses breath weapon here, but otherwise, yeah, I'm all in the center there. My turn 6. So we did manage to kill a few of my units in the center, but what I did was I just wanted to bring everything up, and so I could shoot at this Taurosaur. Sorry, the 2 Stygiosaurs. I just wanted to get rid of them now to get some points, and try and move these away from the shooting of the skinks. Because if I'd left them there, I think it would have been I would have lost a unit to there. But I'm still in massive range of magic, etc. I killed one Taurosaur. I killed one Stygiosaur. He had 1 wound left. I put 1 unit of bows in there, a Tree Father in there, poisons magic. I even got a spell off, I think, and it still stayed this Stygiosaur survived. I think I've got points. I've got half points, but I still didn't kill it. Oh, that would have been fun. So I've missed out on 140 odd points there, but that's okay. I But otherwise, the Warlord and Dryads just keep hitting each other to death, and nothing really happens. And yeah, that's my turn. But otherwise, killing a Stegosaur, I've got a reasonable amount of my army still left, so I'm pretty happy with that. In his turn, he kills off the remaining of my Sentinels, so it's just my Druid left there. But she does rally check, which is really quite good. Oh, sorry, she passes a panic check, which is really good. And otherwise, that's it. End of the game. There's still a pillow fight down at the bottom. Um, yeah, but otherwise, he's left with a Taurosaur. So it was a really nice and bloody game. So he was left with a Taurosaur on 2, 3 wounds. Can't remember. A Stygiosaur left on 1 wound, so I've got half points for that. A Warlord, 2 units of Skinks, and a Quattle, and that's it. I've got both units of Heath Hunters, not put down, a Tree Father, my Blade Dancers and BSB. What else? My Mage. I think I have my Ancient and my Unit Dryad. So points wise, it's not that far away. My big losses are the Forest Rangers and probably the Heath Riders. Actually, so my biggest mistake, I made 2 mistakes this game. The Blade Dancers going across, that was my first big mistake. And I made them both in the same turn, actually. The second mistake, which was bigger, was charging my Heath Riders into this bloke on the right. I didn't need to do that. I could have sat off and held there, and that would have worked perfectly fine. So that was on me. Sorry, Heath Riders, because then they would have come in and drawn the objective at least. So he's taken the one on the left. I should have drawn the one on the right, and I think that would have played out in my favour. So that was it. That's how I should have played that one, even if I don't get the final Stygius or yeah. Right. In terms of points, it's an 11-9. So I was really buzzed by this. I was like, yeah, I got more points than the double master, so I was really happy with that. So yeah, I was really happy. I lost the Heath Riders, the Rangers, and a Tree Father and 2 Sentinel units. He lost both Ramptons and Pterodons in the end, a Taurosaur, a Stygiosaur, half another Stygiosaur, 1 unit of 15 Braves that went for the objective, his Saurus Warriors that went through, and the Veteran on the Raptor. So I won by points and I had a 12-8, but he won the objective and he beat me 11-9. So, but I was really happy with that. I gave a good game, I think. I made 2 really big mistakes, 1 minor mistake with the Forest Rangers. I'd say even the Blade Dancers one wasn't the big one. The biggest one was charging the Heath Riders in and just, yeah, I can hit him on 2s and, or was it 3s and then wound on 4s. That was really bad. I didn't roll well, but that was really, really stupid of me. So, but otherwise, I was quite happy with the way I played and a good start to Sunday morning. Yeah, I was very happy. So I'm now up to, how many points would I've been on now? So I've got 14, 18, so that's 32, and then 20 nil, so 32. And then this, I was on 41 after 4 games. I was pretty happy. So over 10 points. Just need that happy 9 to get to the 50. So I was really happy. And after playing Hugh Scarlin and Craig Johnson, and yeah, I was really, and one of the games against Rob Cousins. So yeah, no slack, like good player. I was quite happy with my performance, especially with a new style of list that I've never really done before. Um, though I'm very happy Craig Johnson pointing out the banner of discipline. I think that's a must-have whenever you do this next time. Um, and I still think the big thing on this game is I just didn't is the magic that's not quite right. Otherwise, I really like the maneuverability, how stuff supports each other. The Forest Rangers didn't have a great game, but neither. But I think that was me not really thinking about where he was going to go and setting up the traps. And quite frankly, I just got outplayed on the left. And then me putting stuff in. But otherwise, I gave it a good go. Um, and so I was really happy with that. Yeah. But moving on to round 5 next. Before we go though, hobby corner with my winter list. Just so this is they're Kestrel Knights. this is actually what a kestrel looked like. I thought, actually, that's quite a colourful bird. I want to do something a bit different. So this is the unit. I think I'm going to have 2 units of 6, but I've bought these off TXARLI. So Zali. I don't think they make them anymore. I think they've discontinued them, but it's well worth a look as Kestrelites are fantastic models. But yeah, I'm having a look at the moment. I'm going to probably have 2 units of 6. I'll have 3 Kestrels and 3 other things as unit fillers that are going to be like trees or mountains, something to make the unit feel that very flying through the air and pouncing. I want it. It's not just going to be random bases, so they're going to be just as difficult to build. I haven't even decided what they look like, just so I can get the units finished. But I'm really happy with how that's looked. And yeah, so actually doing a bit of hobby. So thank you very much. That's me finishing on game 4. If you like it, please subscribe. Again, please add comments below about what I got right, what I got wrong, if I missed anything rules wise, or I should have done something else. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day. Thank you very much.